going on, people? Welcome to 137 Works, and today is March 17th, which means that it's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Paddy's Day. It's basically like an old Irish traditional holiday. It's about St. Patrick. He drove the snakes out of Ireland, or so the story goes. But realistically, nowadays, it just means that people get absolutely blackout drunk and puke all over themselves. I won't be getting to that stage quite as bad, I don't think. At least not until later, because the thing that I thought I would do is to make a beat with an Irish theme on. I dug into the little record collection that I have there. You'll see the little clip that I put in. I have acquired via like the little collections of records here and there that I've gotten off my grandparents, just a little section of Irish music. It's mostly just stuff like that you'd expect, like the Dubliners and that kind of thing, but occasionally there is just random stuff, like random artists that probably had like one-hit wonders in Ireland in the 70s and 80s. Like there's just little bits and pieces like that. So what I thought I'd do is a sort of rhythm roulette style thing where I just blindly dig into that little section, pull out a record, and we'll try and go from there. The first attempt was not ideal. I got a Pope John Paul Visits Ireland record, which is bizarrely common. If you've ever done like record digging in charity shops in Ireland, it's a very common record to find. We did not go with that. Now, I do think that there could be something interesting to do with vocal snippets from it, like talking about God and Christ and power or something like that. That could be kind of interesting way to work into a beat. But as I said, we didn't go with that one. We picked out Des O'Connor, and now this is what cracks me up, with Feelings. And just the way that it's written there, with feelings, like why is there quotation marks on feelings? Like it's like, you know, I didn't kill your dog, I didn't kill your dog, I didn't kill your dog. Quotation marks matter. They add on a whole different thing. But yeah, it is Des O'Connor, who is not somebody I'm familiar with. He could have been those one-hit wonders kind of things and just like had, you know, scraped together enough money to make a record back in the day, or he could be someone that was quite popular. I'm not familiar, but I just know that it is... Well, it was recorded in the UK. Is this actually Irish? Furiously Googles. The goddamn man is English. God damn it. Like, again, I just assumed, because it's like Des O'Connor's a pretty Irish sounding name. Like, it has the apostrophe, like, oh, like, he is son of Connor, but Connor is apparently English. Because as I was reading the back of this as I was talking there, I was like, okay, wait, recorded in London. I was like, okay, I'd rather it be like, you know, entirely start to finish. But like, I did a whole intro where I recorded, picking up the clip and everything. Oh, okay, scratch that. Start over. Okay, a bit more like it. Dubliners live at Albert Hall. It is 17 songs? 15 songs? So we should have some options to pick from. I love the little caricatures. There's little caricatures of each of them on the back. That's pretty cool. The camera's probably not picking it up terribly well, but yeah, that's really cool. It's slightly concerned that it's a live album just because there might be audience noise during the parts I'd like to use or whatever, but the record isn't in the best of nick. I did give it a clean and a wipe with my little solution here that I have, and I'll give it a brush with the little kind of record clean brush that I have. It is from 1969, so it is quite old. Like, the record isn't in the best condition, but I will do what I can with what I have. So let's just start from side one, and I'm using a different method now this time. I have found a way to get all the stuff working on the screen, as well as the camera up there that's pointing down. That should capture me like hitting the pads and playing the keys and stuff like that. So it should all kind of work in theory. Fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, doing this in kind of more of a vloggy way, if you want to put it that way. So I'm going to kind of talk through the process as I do this and just see what kind of sticks. So yeah, first and foremost, we've got the tempo set, bumped it up to 90 just because 88 is my default. When I open up FL Studio, it's the default tempo kind of speed or whatever. But I thought like a little bit faster for this, kind of like a little bit more of a pace to it, a tempo for the kind of the day that's in it. I am now immediately thinking, do I want to use a drum break or program drums? And I'm thinking, just because drum breaks can be a bit finicky at times, it might be easiest to just do some drums. So I'm going to just go through and pick out some drums that I think might sound interesting. Okay, I think I found the kit that I'm going to use here. It's Left Field One Chops Volume 2. It's in full kits and it's kit 2. So I'm just going to drag these in and give you a demo once that is done. Yeah, so that sounds pretty good. So we have a little kit there to go with. I'm just going to immediately kind of do the initial quick and dirty processing that I do. It's a bit better. I'm just going to check out the low end though with a filter. Maybe just take off a smidgen, just a tiny little bit of the low end. This wouldn't be a normal process for me now, but it's just a tidy up. It's a little bit muddy. And that'll also leave a little room at the low end for the bass line when the bass line comes in. So yeah, that's that. That's how I'll usually start basically a kind of a sampling process. I'll get my drums first. So then when I stick the sample on, I know that I've got my drums ready and I can just kind of play along. Yeah, so that's that. So let's now go over to the record, which has been spinning away over on the side there, and we're just going to start looking for the sample. So I'll probably have to edit the video in such a way that probably doesn't show a lot because of copyright reasons and stuff like that. So we'll just see.
We'd like to start, ladies and gentlemen, with a song which you probably all know the chorus of, and now let him hear.
So I'm going to just take that vocal sample straight away anyway. So this is a case where I don't necessarily know exactly how I'm going to use that just yet, but I know that I want to. So just having to cut out is beneficial. So now I can just go for a new one and continue it on as it was and keep listening for a sample.
That's not it, by the way. That's a Chinese piece called Tuning. Stuck the pen up in the baby's hand, down by the riverside. There was 3 loud knocks coming knocking on the door.
Okay, that is a song that I know very well from my youth. It is something that used to haunt me. It's a terrifying song. I don't know who wrote it, if it's a true story or what, but it's it's always giving me the heebie-jeebies. But it actually works really well. Not as a sample necessarily, but as a beat. Like I was just playing some drums alongside it, and it actually fits into like a little ding, ding, there's something there. So I'm keeping that in mind, but we'll keep listening and see what we have. Okay, something like that I can work with. So I have the rough kind of like idea there that I'm looking for. I've got like, I think it's like an 8/16 bar loop. Okay, I have something, again, it's not amazing, but just in the interest of making a kind of a cool Irish Team Paddys Day video, it's something I think. So let's try and lay that down. So yeah, that's the basic idea. We have the drum kit here now. See how they fit in together. Okay, it works. It goes kind of actually hard a little bit. I'm pretty stoked on that. So I'm just going to lay down the hats first. The way it is, again, the way that I've got the RX 950 on the drums, the hats are quite hard to make out with all the choppiness and crackle for the record. I'll fix that in the kind of the mixing process of the video. So let's go. Something like that's fine. And then we can add the drums. So if I stick this on here. So I like the idea, but I do want to change the drum pattern towards the second half. So where it changes in the sample to being a bit longer, I also want to change the kick and snare pattern. So I'll just go and redo that again. Well, not redo it, but... just something a bit different to get a bit of a different feeling because the sample changes as well. So right, so next up we have a bass line needed, and for that I'm using Korg Triton Extreme, which is like a Korg Triton emulator sort of thing. It's an old classic, like the early mid 2000s. It was like the go-to for making hip-hop music and stuff like that. So I have found that it has a really nice bass line that I just tweak a tiny little bit and I quite enjoy it. So it's a live bass. So it has a little bit too much kind of high-end, almost Seinfeld-y, slappy bass sound to it. So I do a little tweaking on it again in the mixing. So I will get all that done and we will try and noodle with some ideas for the bass line. Okay, I have something of an idea here. I think I need to just adjust a little bit. And that should be about what I was looking for. So play this all together now. I'm just going to randomize the velocities just to give it a little touch of realism, a little humanization there. Just to, you wouldn't, again, playing a real bass drum, you wouldn't hit obviously every note perfectly every time. So it just gives you that little touch of realism. Again, it's not perfect, but it's for the context of what we're trying to do here, it'll do the job just fine. And so I'm just going to do the volumes and do my little kind of EQ and boosting thing, trick thing with the EQ for the bass line and the kick drum. So yeah, it's going to look kind of strange because I'm adding in some more bass line where after I'd just taken some out using the filter. I was using that to get rid of the big muddy boominess down the low end of the drum kit. What I'm adding back in here is like a very defined piece of the bass line. It's where the kick is really booming. The kick's main frequency, it's usually about 50-60 hertz. That's what we're kind of aiming for. We're aiming to boost that in the kick drum so it punches through the bass line a little bit better, and we're doing the same thing. We're scooping out the bass line in that frequency so there's just like a little pocket for the kick to live in, sort of thing, so they don't clash. Yeah, so in this case it's about 54 hertz-ish. So again, it's just a small little boost. We're not bringing back everything that we took away. We're just a small little boost in that region, and then we do the exact same thing on the bass line here, the bass line EQ. So I'm just going to bring it down to about where it was, 54, I think, about the same amount, just kind of there. See, so now when the kick comes up, it's going into the little pocket left behind by the bass. So when you combine that with the volume mixing, it's kind of, the theory is that it gives you like a smooth, kind of nice, decent, non-muddy low end to the track. So, you know, it doesn't always work that way, unfortunately, but this is basically what we're going for. So let's see. Yeah, so again, we're also using like a very dramatic bass line. I'm using it like in a really low down register on the kind of keyboard. I could use the higher one, but it just doesn't sound quite as I was going for. This one has a little bit of a more gritty kind of sound to it, playing down that kind of low distorted register. So like this is where it's at now, and doesn't quite do it for me the same way as that down there does. So it's a bit like, yeah. So now again, I'm going to just go into the sample here, and again, I realize I'm clicking around off the screen a little bit. You can probably see it off that camera actually, but I used my second monitor for my mixing track kind of, and also I'm using it to monitor my OBS recording at the moment, so I can see myself, make sure that I'm still in frame and everything's still working, and I'm not blowing the microphone now. So we have a silly little whimsical start to a beat. Everything that you need: a sample, a drum beat, and a bass line. They're kind of the three essentials. We can just call this done now, loop this for 3 minutes, and technically it's a boom bap lo-fi kind of drum sample sort of thing. But we are looking to add on some layers now at this point. So I'm going to keep going through and look for some layers in the sample, see if I can find any individual like kind of hits. Or it's going to be tricky because usually with this I might have to go external. I might not be able to get them from the record. Typically you'd be looking for like other instruments, a piano, a horn, and a bell or something like that. But with this being a live performance of the Dubliners, they have maybe a couple of guitars, a mandolin, a banjo, their voices, and maybe a tin whistle at some point. So we'll have to see. But we'll go through them and see what we have and try to add them to layers. So let's go keep digging. That was that for side one. Didn't find anything else there that I could have used, but we shall have a look at side two now. And again, if there's nothing on this one, I'll just dig back into the pile and we'll just use some more Irish records. I usually try to get everything that I can off a record. If I can get an entire beat made out of just one record without having to dig in again, or without having to use like different cuts and samples that I have in packs and stuff like that, like that's the best, is when you can really just get everything that you need from one record. You're just really getting your money's worth kind of thing, and I just thought that's always good fun, but it doesn't always happen. And I don't think, again, with the kind of record that this is, being a live performance and the kind of music that it is, there's going to be too much more that I can use on this, but we have a whole other side to listen to, so we shall see. First, I need to use the bathroom.
For I'm sick and tired of slavery since the day that...
This side is much worse, it feels like, scratch wise. The music itself is very quiet and tinny, but also the just the scratches and audio in it quality is just absolutely not what you want it to be. So not feeling very confident about this side of the record, I have to say.
Liverpool town where I was.
It's kind of funny that I picked the one Dubliners record that wasn't recorded in Dublin. It's recorded in England, and most interestingly, I just realised that 2 of the songs have Liverpool in the title. So again, trying to keep the Irishness going in this video has been a bit of a challenge, but we continue.
Well, an old man came courting me, hating Durham town.
It's also funny, this is a cool aspect of vinyl, the records, is that I noticed that this song is in much better condition than the first couple of songs, and it's like the second last or last song on the record. So like this kind of tells a story that since 1969, whoever owned this record listened to the first side, the second side, probably the second side a lot more considering how much worse condition it is. And then by the time Whiskey in the Jar was over, maybe that was their favourite song. And so once that song was over, they basically just stopped the record player, took the record off, because this is actually pretty good. It's still quite tinny, like again, the record is still old and has been played a bunch, but like there's not nearly as many cracks and pops at this stage of the record than there is in the rest of it, which I thought was interesting. So vinyl tells a story, like not even just visually but like audibly. You can tell that that was probably somebody bought this record because they loved that rendition of Whiskey in the Jar or whatever. Yeah, as a result, like as soon as it would be over, they take it off, and so the last song or two is going to be in like pretty good condition. Like I just think that's kind of interesting.
That's a woolen blanket that me mother sent to me.
Okay, so I know that song, it's not going to change, there's not going to be anything else different there, so I think safely I can say that is the end of the Dubliners record. So we got one foundational sample, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, not much else there, just again, it's just the type of record it is, the type of music. It was never very likely that it was going to have much of anything. I didn't actually think that I would really get anything, to be honest, so I was happy to get that little bit that we did get. So let's go and have another little route in and pick out another random record and see how it goes on. But again, a relic here, 1969, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just nuts that it's still survivable, and, like, you know, to think of all the people that have listened to this over the years, and now I've become one of them. Fascinating. Right, well, never let it be said that we didn't go full Irish on this. The next one that I pulled in randomly, The World of Irish Dancing, O'Dowlig's Cayley Band. It has a bunch of reels, hornpipes, jigs, waltzes, set dance marches. Again, it's Irish music, it's Irish, kind of traditional Irish dancing music sort of thing, so it looks like it's in good condition as well. We shall see. My thoughts on it, basically, in advance before I listen to it, are that it's going to be music, which is good. So you might get like a little melody or a little long note that you can use and that we can resample. There should be options there. So as opposed to the vocals and opposed to because it's the record itself is in good condition, all the crackling from the previous record shouldn't be an issue. So. I'm not 100% sure what I can do with this, but I'm hearing something in that deedle 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 deedle. So this is the chop that I've come up with from that. So again, it's weird. This is what I love about this kind of music, is that you don't think initially that there's going to be anything there with that kind of music and as the record played, but with some simple tweaks. In this case, it's literally just I've pitched it down by 4 and I have put on a filter to take out a bunch of the low end, and it comes into this little lovely space where if you just turn the volume down, so it's not clashing with everything, it becomes like a little extra bit of filler sound. So if we play the kind of the beat as we have it, we'll play the first 4 bars with the chop and then with it at the end. So so what I played, and then just doing a few little tweaks here to kind of match what I was kind of picturing in my head, we have something that goes like this altogether. So again, it's really, really subtle. It's just another little higher pitch thing that you can just about make out that's in the same tune, key and stuff like that, that just adds a little bit of musicality to it. But I shall keep going and we shall see what is on the rest of this record. So let's go. Some echo or reverb, whether that's natural or what, I don't know, but that's hell of an echo. Right, that's about off from that one. We got something, so it's not a complete write-off, but, you know, again, I had higher hopes that there'd be more variation of instruments, but there was not, just an accordion, so. Okay, this is The Golden Voice of John McCormack. You see it all? So this is volume 1, has a good few songs on it, and he is Irish in fact because it says author of The Great Irish Tenor, which I assume is about this man himself. No idea what to expect. It's another album that's actually in terrible condition as far as the sleeve goes, but the record itself I would imagine has to be in decent enough condition, and it is. A little bit dusty. Dolphin Records with a cool dolphin graphic on that. I quite like that actually. Okay, immediately I know that I'm keeping that aside, keeping this in mind for another beat, because that is a lovely little piano piece. Whether I use it here or not, we'll see. Yeah, kind of wish I found this first as like the basis of the track, but let's see what else it has. But again, like just for example, like the guy that we're listening to now died in 1945. He died during World War II, like at that period. So this is how old kind of we're going back. Right, well that's something. Okay, so that's basically what I've decided on. So that big snippet, I just took this one note. And basically what we've done with it is repeat it 4 times, and this is giving us that kind of 16 Devils horn sound that's kind of famous, the old New York horn sound. But instead of it with a horn, obviously it's in case with a piano. And I've just stuck on an LA2A compressor just to get the volume up a little bit. A VPS filter just to take out a bunch of the low end. An RX950 to again take out just a little bit of high end combined with some bit crushing. And a reverb just to give it a little bit more kind of space and echo and stuff. So combine it all together, we have what we're about to record. And so instead of just going, so what I chose to do there, kind of real time on the fly, was instead of just going 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 or 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, I've messed with a little bit with the softer notes and stuff like that to try and just give it a bit more variation, so it's not just that same one note repeating over all the time. So it sounds pretty interesting, I think. And now again, I will do a bit of panning here, just so not everything's not in the middle and has its own kind of space on the grid, so or on the kind of audio sound stage, or whatever way you want to put it. Hey, that's again just another little addition. I might try and find just 1 or 2 more parts, and then I will add in. I'll do a bit more percussion work and some kind of track it out into like something of a beat, and then we'll call it a day. But let's just see like 1 or 2 more little bits if anything sticks out on this record. That's side 1. I think we've gotten a nice little bit of piano, and I think that's basically all that's going to be on this. There was strings in one of the songs, but I think that's basically all we're going to get. The edges of this are razor sharp, by the way, as well. Yeah, I'm not expecting much more of the second side of this, but again, we'll check it out just in case. It seems clearly it's from like the 20s or 30s or whatever like that, and it's just some guy showing off his vocal range with a piano and like some strings occasionally, sort of thing. So I do have some other interesting records in there by Irish artists, some Irish music that would have more kind of variation, stuff like that. Like, now again, don't get me wrong, variation. We've had the Dubliners playing traditional music. We've had bloody Cayley dancing, like Irish dancing Cayley music. And we've had a tenor singer from the 30s. So we're getting lots of variation. It's just for finding samples, not exactly what we wanted. Also, my phone battery's after dying. It was on like 80 something % when I started, but it's been over an hour at this point that I've been looking through these samples. And I've just been sitting up there recording at 1080p 60 FPS, which I probably should have changed. But anyway, yes, so the camera is gone now, but we are pretty much mostly done with all this stuff. It's going to get one more, again, as I said, since we're only looking for 1 or 2 more samples, it's just a case of it's going to be all pretty much on the keyboard and mouse from here going forward, of just doing stuff with the mix and kind of laying out and tracking out the song and stuff like that. So don't think we're going to miss too much from having it gone. So let's go start side 2 of this. That's basically everything from that one. Again, cool, interesting, very lo-fi piano sounds, very kind of low, old school, again, 2030s, poorly recorded, warbly piano sounds. So could come back to this one, but that's about that one. I'm going to try 1 more record and just see if there's anything else on there, just to see if there's any bit of funk that we can add on. But that is about that for this one here. So once again, just leaving it a chance, dug my hand in and pulled out the first record that was there, and we have Frank Patterson, Dreaming the Happy Hours, Memories of John McCormack. He's from Tipperary and he's a tenor, and this is all fully produced and made in Ireland, printed by Massey Bros in Dublin, marketed by Polygram Records Ireland. Yep, we shall see what Frank Patterson has to offer. Kind of digging that. Bam, 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 bam. So yeah, nothing crazy fancy or, you know, the maddest chops in the world, but it's just that it has a little bam, 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 bam. It has a little vibe to it. And again, I'll do some balancing with the mix and stuff like that to kind of give everything its own little space towards the end, but just so far, like... Okay, we're taking that, obviously. So I think this is going to provide a nice little kind of balance then once it's mixed properly with this part here. So this bell, this church bell kind of thing is going to just, you know, in that same part of the sound stage, kind of the same volume and the same kind of stereo width, it'll just provide a nice little kind of, a nice balance that, I think. So let's just hit the record and put that down. Okay, so the mix is quite busy because there is a couple of sounds that are kind of occupying heavily the same kind of sound space. So I've tried to do a little adjustment on it, and this is what I have so far. So yeah, nice little just weird different sound that you wouldn't get everywhere, and especially with that kind of plucky mandolin or whatever it is for the original sample from the Dubliners. Again, it's made from Ireland. This track is made by samples from Irish people, made by an Irish person on St. Paddy's Day. It might as well, the track might as well have ginger hair, like, and freckles. Yeah, let me work on just a bit of a layout now. I think that's about all the sample work that I'm going to do now. I'm going to just lay it out into a little bit of something along the lines of a short beat, like just a little loop or whatever. And yes, I'll get back to you. So give me a minute. Okay, and that is that. That is basically a beat. It's not complete now. I would usually put like an outro or like a breakdown towards the end here, and then a couple more verses towards the end. But for the sake of the video, to be able to just show off what we made here, it's like this will do. Got an intro, a little 16-bar verse, 8-bar chorus, 16-bar verse, 8-bar chorus, and yeah, just kind of threw it all together, and you know, putting in a ride here towards the second half of the verse, and an open hat on the chorus here, and that's basically just the layout. So without further ado, I will just say, yeah, not the best thing that I've ever made. I'm sure it's not like, you know, we had a bit of a challenge with the whole having to use records from my collection of Irish records, like, and also the fact that I was pulling them out randomly, so you're just relying on basically the luck of the gods. Yeah, I think we found some cool stuff, you know, starting with that record from the Dubliners, a live Dubliners performance. You know, it's always going to be good when that's the foundation. So yeah, cool, different, completely made in Ireland, as I said before. Irish samples, Irish artists, made by an Irish, like, sampled and remixed by an Irish producer, wearing green on Paddy's Day. The track might as well be ginger, might as well have red hair and freckles, like. But yeah, that's about it. I think I'll just play it now, let you hear what it sounds like, and just play us out from there. So if you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
We'd like to start, ladies and gentlemen, with a song which you probably all know.